One of the problems we see with every B2B startup is that at one point they will get a security requirements document from one of their potential clients. So in order to close that deal, they will have to comply with these security requirements. And one of these requirements is always a penetration test. So they have to get their system vetted and checked by a third-party penetration tester. And sometimes they ask for routine penetration tests on their code. And that means a few things. So the first thing you need to do is scramble to find an agency, someone who will perform that penetration test. And usually they have to be known for working with certain clients. So that's one problem. You need to sign NDAs and you have to do all the legal work. And then the next step is to schedule this when they're available. And you also have to allocate your resources, so that's team, compute, to work with them and show them how to get access to the system and work along with them with your team. And also that could be quite expensive. You also don't want to hold up the actual deal with the client. So what are your options now? AWS released its penetration testing functionality, on-demand penetration testing for their security agent, which is quite exciting for many reasons. So this is not a purely technical video here. I will mostly talk about how these features benefit you as a business. So I will show you the actual console and things, but don't worry. But I want to talk about why this is important for you. So if you really need to check the box for penetration testing, that could be a very valid option, especially if you live in the AWS ecosystem and maybe your clients as well, they do trust AWS. That's a brand name that you can use. And they have a good platform for that. And let's see what is included. So they do have access to the code. You can share your code base. You can allow them to log into the app and perform these penetration tests. And you don't have to sign an additional NDA. You can schedule this. You can do this on demand. You can actually connect it to your CI/CD pipeline. So let's say that you're adding new features. You can check just these new paths, these new APIs that you expose to that penetration test, which is a good benefit. Of course, you don't actually have to allocate your team members to sit down with the penetration testers. And now that we also have so much code coming into the system through LLM agents, it's really hard to actually schedule this with manual penetration testing. That will take a lot of time. Some paradigms are shifting at the moment. But first, a little disclaimer. So I haven't vetted this with any of my clients yet. But anyways, let me show you how that actually looks, and we'll go over the features that you might find useful. Okay, so I'm sitting here editing this video, and the next part is me going over the system, sharing my screen, and actually showing you how to set the penetration test up and show you the results. Now, it didn't go as smoothly as I thought it would because of a few things. So first of all, it didn't actually log in as it should have. I had some other difficulties, and mainly it took a while to run. This is an AI agent that takes a long time to run and to get feedback. And also budget-wise, I didn't want to spend too much money. It's like $50 per hour. At one point I said, okay, this is enough for this video. Maybe in the next one I will show you a longer one, end-to-end penetration test. But for now, I think this should be enough. And what I'm trying to say is that it doesn't take away from the point of this video. So AWS built a service that is actually a great solution to a business problem. This helps you check this penetration test thing in your security requirements. It will get better as we go along. I'm sure of it. I'm sure it's pretty good right now. But with all AI agents, it's a question of time, right? It is getting much better and much smoother. And keep that in mind if you keep watching the next section. So it will show you a few fumbles and things that I tried, and it will show you at least one finding from the penetration test. So let's get back to the video right now. So I'm going to be setting this up for the first time, so you're seeing my actual real reaction for this. For one of our apps, this is an app that we created just as a side project, and then kind of killed it. So I'm going to test it anyways and see how that looks. Oh, another thing, this could get really, really expensive. So this is not a cheap service. Please be mindful when using it or testing it. It can get to a few $1,000s if you're not careful. So it is comparable to manual penetration testing. I imagine it will be cheaper, but actually let's just see how much that works. I hope it doesn't get too expensive. So the first thing we'll do is put the app name. So let's call it PyTest. Let's call it Pentest. Next thing, we need to choose how user access this agent. In this case, I'm going to do this simpler option, just IAM access only. Let's try it. We'll see how that goes. Service access. Let's create a different one. Encryption. Yeah, default encryption. Okay, let's set up the AWS security agent and see how that works. Okay, so we have the agent here, and now we can do a few things. We can add code review. That's, of course, everything here is on preview pretty much, but I want to set up penetration tests. So let's do the settings here. So set up a penetration test, target domains. That's stackspy.app. We'll need to do a DNS TXT record. So this is to prove ownership of that app. I don't think that's going to be a problem. So let's do that. This is not hosted on Route 53, so we'll have to do this manually. So hold on, let me do that and get back. I added this record to my domain. It's hosted somewhere else. And now let's verify. Verified, we can move on to the next stage. Okay, resources and action control. Let's see. I added the VPC to the scope so it can actually test it and the security groups. Don't want CloudWatch logs for this moment. Yeah, I'm not using that. Let's keep it simple. Select one of Lambda functions from your AWS account. We don't want this, and we don't have S3 buckets in this case. And then it will just create a new security role. Let's go with that. So it seems to be set up. Now let's start in the app. So what I'm mostly interested is finding whether it will be able to log in correctly to the app. It kind of needs a user either to sign up or somehow to set that up. So let's do start in the web app. This is the first time I'm looking at this. Let's see what happens. So create a penetration test. Come on, AWS, you can do better with your UIs. Come on, bring some designers on board. Okay, penetration test details. I thought I did add that, but let's call it initial stacks by initial pen test. Okay, HTTPS stacks by.app. I need, no, just one. Exclude risk types. Let's see. I don't want to exclude anything. So let's, you know what? I don't have JSON web tokens. Yeah, let's do all of them. And then out of scope URLs. I don't have any out of scope URLs. And then no custom HTTP headers, permission, select, give this role. I don't have one. And oh, this is cool. So you have an automatic, sorry, let me make this a little bigger. You have an automatic code remediation option. So this will submit a pull request. This is really nice. See, this kind of shortens the feedback loop. This is pretty neat. Let's go next. I'm not going to add the automatic code remediation here. Yeah, I need to do underscores probably. Pentest name can only contain letters, numbers, hyphens, and underscores. What have I done? Is this okay? Let's do next. So AWS, please fix this. Do some client-side thingy that will update this. This is a valid name. Good. VPC, we have that. Subnet, at least one subnet required when VPC is, yeah, I did add at least one. Come on, you need to do validation much better. Okay, so add credential. This is where it gets interesting because we do need to log in to actually test stuff. Okay, I'm going to be very lazy. I don't want anything special. I'll just create credentials for a user. I'll create a new user on the app and see how that happens. I created a new user. I have the password here. No two-factor authentication for this one. Let's do the actual URL to be utilizing this credentials. I hope this will be fine. Maybe I need this slash something. And let's see if it actually can find how to log in. That's going to be interesting. That's one of the benefits of using AI. It is simpler for them to actually log in than it used to in other tools. SAP, I'm looking at you. Authentication there is horrible. What else can we do? Okay, so choose it. Yeah, sure. Let's add a... No, you know what? This is going to be a black box penetration testing. I'm not going to give it get access, though. For your use case, I think that's a great idea. And again, just because of the pricing, I'm fairly anxious about this, just doing it for the video. So I'm taking one for the team. I really hope you can stop this. Oh, okay. There's a stop. There's a stop button. Let this run for a few minutes, and then we'll see if it came up with anything. Ooh, look at that. So let's see what we found. I'm looking at the penetration test logs. So logging, infrastructure setup, that's just a setup. Oh, it set up the testing environment. So we're fine. Still working. Come on, work quicker. By the way, while waiting for this to actually kick off, you can sign up to the channel, subscribe to the channel, and like this video. This will help us grow. This will help me create more content like this in the future. The setup phase is really, really long. This is a little ridiculous. So far it's only been doing setup. So it's using the AI agent is using tools like, I don't know, it creates some infrastructure in the background for this test. And it's been running for how long? 13 minutes now. And it cost me $10. Just the task hour duration measured total time of an AI agent. I know this is peanuts in the grand scheme of things, but maybe provisioning of this infrastructure should be automated and not by the AI agent, or it shouldn't be actually working so much to create this. I can't believe it. So it actually failed with a timeout. I'm guessing it's a VPC issue somewhere. This is so super frustrating. So I'll go back and I'll see you in a bit. I started again. Hopefully that will not take as long as it did before. This time it completed the environment setup much quicker. Let's see if it can actually access the app. Oh, and we can also see that it was able to reach the endpoints. So that's something that failed last time. That was the VPC setting. Good. It seems like it actually started the login sequence. And let's see if that works. It's been ages. This run is already 28 minutes in. And basically it's struggling with just signing in. I wish they had a better way of doing that. I did give it the correct credentials. I've checked the secrets manager, and also it's trying too much. I would expect some kind of timeout or a time limitation on just setting this whole environment up. It's just wasting time and tokens here. So I'll give it another second, but if that doesn't work, which it seems like it doesn't work, it seems like it's trying to hack the login system, even though it has valid credentials. So we're using Clerk, so that might relate to that. Maybe Clerk is blocking them in some way, and it's trying to overcome that. But what I'm going to do next is basically just alter the test without any credentials. So it will not try to log in. And we do have some public endpoints on that app that it can test. I just want to see the results for this penetration test. So I'll probably do two things. So I'll connect the GitHub, use the GitHub connector so we can see how the static analysis phase works. And then we'll also use an unauthenticated endpoint just to see how it works and demo it, because I just don't want to spend too much time on it. So I'll set it up and we'll see that in a second. This is a new run. Let's hope this goes much better. This time, no credentials, so we should be able to get that quickly. And also I connected GitHub so we can do static analysis and other tests. So let's see if this goes any better. Okay, some progress, still in the setup phase, but it's pulling the pentest logs. Let's see if we get something this time. Good, it actually started scanning and doing things. Good. So it seems like it started running, it's doing its static analysis, and we're still in the static analysis phase. So basically we have some findings, nothing to write home about, but it is going over the code. It is getting a little expensive for me for this test, so I will stop here. And we didn't even get to the actual pen test phase. So I'll be stopping this. I'll stop the run again. And let me tell you what I actually think about this tool after testing it. So this is what I think about this tool after giving it, a short test. Now, this is not comprehensive. This is me being budget mindful for this specific video. But I can already see a few things. And I think this is where things are going security-wise and penetration testing-wise. So my first thought is that, yeah, it had a little issues with login and I didn't get it to work because I stopped there, but I did see a few interesting things. So it was very creative. It was trying to create its own tools and write actual apps for trying to authenticate and circumvent a few things that Clerk did, probably to stop it from trying to log in as a bot. So that was very interesting. It was also interesting to see it go over the code, just like we do with our coding agents. But it is security mindful and security minded and have some interesting points. So the whole penetration test paradigm is shifting. I think we will see more and more agents. They can cover more code, be more thorough, run more tests than manually. I think can overcome a few things that may need some nudges from users in other platforms. So I'm not writing off this tool, right? It's a brand, it's new. Most of these features are still preview. But again, I didn't want to go fully technical with this tool. I think it might need a little more time. Maybe I haven't given it enough time. But the concept itself, that's what I'm focusing on. If you're a smaller startup, if you need to run penetration tests on schedule, if you need to check this box and have a good brand name to use for your penetration test, if you want auto remediation, meaning a very clear way to actually fix the security issues, like you can see in our findings, it has a remediate code button that will do it for you instead of just going through a list of issues in a report that the penetration tester copied and pasted from a previous client. Sometimes it still has the other client's logo on it. So this could be a very valuable tool in your belt as a startup, especially if you're growing, especially if you're trying to be aggressive with the market. I would still give this a go. Again, be mindful of costs and verify that it actually did what you wanted it to do and that the findings are correct. But if this works, I think this is a game changer for a lot of companies. I will keep looking at this tool. I'll try to see if they release new things. I want to see the status of it. But in the meantime, subscribe to the channel. Like this video if you think it's interesting. And I'll see you in the next one.